Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going over the info for the season 129 of the Tournament of Power. You have timestamp for every section and you can jump to any part at any point using the description or video bar. Other than that, the walkthrough for the season is gonna be on Sunday when I have enough TP to finish the run. Now let's start with the route. We're going to follow the yellow line as always. You have only two alternative fights in the season, which is at number 6 and number 12. For number 12, the middle one is better. The one on the left is just a bunch of tag units and it's very hard to target with them and you don't know what to put in the top row, so avoid it. And for fight number 6, they're like equal difficulty, but the one on the left, you need greens in the top row and you have so many this season, and the one on the right you need yellows in the top row and you have less options. So I would advise the one on the left for most, unless you have some very strong yellows. Now let's move on to the booth and look at the tier list. As you can see here, the theme is around anime original and seinen characters. So you have a lot of Team Bardock characters that are boosted, with the new Legend Bardock being 35% boost. Do not make a mistake, Bardocks that are from movies, for example the DBS Broly movie Bardock, he's not going to be anime original, so he's not going to be boosted. Other than that, they added the Farmer Goku free-to-play one into the 15% tier 2 boost, which is nice, and we're going to use him. Make sure to 14 star that character. He's available in the event and he's very easy to get before you start. Other than that, we're gonna have the red Bardock that is gonna Zenkai next week, and I would advise you to not start until he is Zenkai'd, even like Z3, Z4, because it's gonna be a huge upgrade for you. Another tip for that red Bardock, if you do not have him 7 star, he is farmable in game actually from the Let's Go Legend event, and you're gonna unlock like some missions that are called starter dash missions, and you can get some Z power for him. So if you do not have him 7 star, go farm him and make sure he is, so you can Zenkai him of course. Other than that, there is a lot of EXs this season that are usable, but they're not all at the same level. Some of them are better than the others, and we will go more in details on what you should use during the team building part of this video. Finally, you're gonna have some tier 3 character. I would avoid to use them unless you have too many tier 2 that are below 7 star, because for this season I would advise you to use only characters above 7 star. If they are below 9 star, maybe friendship them a little bit, especially if they're EXs, because they're gonna struggle. And the free to play Goku need to be 14 star of course. For tier 3, if your team is struggling a lot star wise and you think you're not gonna survive well, maybe you can use one or two to help you out. Other than that, you have 2 attempts for your run, so maybe the first run try to go full out for your boost, see if you survive. If you did, great, then you finished your run. If you didn't, on your second attempt, replace some of the characters that are low star or struggle with tier 3 character that can be helpful. You have 2 free to play that you might have 14 star with the Frieza and the Yamcha. You also have some Zenkai, so they can be helpful. Finally, for the Legend Bardock, if you have him, run him in every single fight. We will go over the targeting and where to put your character during the walkthrough video. Now, let's look at the enemy colors and abilities. You have here the first 6 fights. Fight number 3, you have Beast Gohan who transformed turn 2. Fight number 5, or fight number 4, sorry, you're gonna have a revival unit with Android 13 and a tag unit with Android 14 plus 15. They are green turn 1 and 3 and yellow turn 2 and 4. For the top row, you're gonna have fight 1, 3 and 5 where you need some blues in the top row because there is double red, and there's also double purples in fight 1 and 5, but we cannot put yellows with double red enemies. It's gonna be very bad in terms of planning. Fight number 2, I would advise purples, but there isn't any strong purple for this season, so we're gonna avoid it. And we can put any color but blue because there is 2 greens and it should be fine. We will go more in details during the walkthrough video. For fight number 4, you can put either greens or blues, and that's because there is a revival blue unit. You might want to take it last, so you're gonna put greens. If you want to take the double reds last, you can put some blues, but because we have a lot of fights with blues in the top row, we might want to avoid that. And in fight number 6, you're gonna have greens in the top row, and there is also an alternative fight in the right that we can do with yellows in the top row, but we will go more in details during the walkthrough video, and I will show you how to target for both, of course. Now we move on to the second part of the map, and as you can see here, fight number 7 and 11, they have 4 blue units, so logically you're gonna put some greens in the top row, and they're gonna be very easy by doing that, because we are going to take the 4 blues at the end, the purple first and green second. We're gonna have the blues mainly attacking our character's type disadvantage, and we're gonna take no damage. For fight number 9, it's gonna be similar to 7 and 11. We're gonna put some greens in the top row. Fight number 8 is gonna be red in the top row. It's the only one that need that. On fight number 10 is gonna be some yellow. You can also put purples, but there isn't any strong purple for this season, and we're gonna basically do the yellow strategy. For fight number 12, it's gonna be blues in the top row. There is 3 red enemy that we will take last. And we also have the tag unit that is purple turn 1 and 3 and blue turn 2 and 4. Now let's summarize everything and look at the best colors to use this season. You're gonna have up to 5 fights where you need blues or greens in the top row. So both colors are gonna be the best to use. You're gonna need multiple of each. Greens is not gonna be difficult at all. You have a lot of options, and I will show you what are the best later. But for blues, you're gonna have only 2 characters that are tier 2, which is the Super Saiyan Bardock and the EX Fasha. For the Super Saiyan Bardock, if you can Zenkai him at least Z1, it would be great. He might do the job 14 star not Zenkai, but I wouldn't really risk it. However, you have to attempt. You can try and see. If it doesn't work, maybe try to Zenkai him. You're also gonna have Fasha. At least 7 star is advisable. If you can put some EXZ power into her, I would do that. She's gonna be the EX that needed the most for this season. After that, you're gonna have red, and you're gonna need only one fight where you put red in the top row, and the red Zenkai Bardock as a red on his own for your team is gonna be enough in my opinion. For purples and yellow, there is up to 2 fights where you can put some in the top row. For purples, we're gonna ignore it. There isn't any great purples to use, so we're gonna give you an alternative for that. And for yellows, I would advise you to use at least one if you have the Zenkai Bardock. If you do not have the Zenkai Bardock, maybe use 2 EX yellows that are tier 2. Now, let's move on to the team building part, and we will talk about all of that more in depth. This is the team that I will be using, and I would advise you to have everyone at least 7 star or higher. If you do not, you might want to look for some replacement. For the EX, even 9 star if possible, because they have a very low stats. Other than that, this Goku need to be maxed out 14 star. He's farmable. You can go get him right now from the event, and if he's not 14 star for you, please go do it, because he's gonna be very important and it's very easy to get him. You just need to do a couple of raids, get some exchange shop, and you should be fine. There's also a stage you can farm, I believe. Other than that, for the team selection, we're gonna have triple green. I think triple green is gonna be really good for this season. There is up to 5 fights where we need greens in the top row, so having 3 of them is gonna be helpful. Especially some are EXs, so if we can share damage, it's gonna be great. And if one of them is dead, it's fine, we still have 2 greens that will do the job. Overall, you have 5 options to choose from. Now, one of them is locked because this Goku is free, so you must have him in your team. And the 2 best after the Goku is gonna be Tora and this Kaioken. They have the better stat overall. The 3rd best then is gonna be this EX Borgos, and the 5th or 4th one is gonna be this Bardock. I wouldn't advise you to use this Bardock unless all the others are low star, because he has a very low key recovery and very low stat. This Shugesh also, or this Borgos, sorry, also has low stats, but in general, he's gonna be tanking better, and he has a higher key recovery, so I think he's gonna be better than Bardock. So I would advise to have everyone above 7 stars, so if you have only 2 of them above 7 star, use the 2 that you have. If not, and if they are quite equal in star level, I would advise you Kaioken first, then Tora. After that, it's gonna be Borgos, and Bardock is gonna be last. Regardless, use any 2 of the 4 here, plus the Goku, and you're gonna have triple green in your team. Then we're gonna move on to the next character, and it's gonna be this red Bardock. This red Bardock is free. You can get him from the starter dash mission. Well, he's free up to 7 star. So go farm him to 7 star, and you're gonna have his Zenkai event that is coming next Wednesday. And you can Zenkai him 7 star Zenkai 3 4. He's gonna be fine. I wouldn't advise you to start before he is Zenkite, especially if he is lower star, because he's gonna give you an extra advantage, and he's gonna be the only red that we will have in our team. Moving on, I would advise you to have at least 2 blue in your team, because this season you're gonna have multiple fights where you need blues in the top row. Fasha and Bardock are the only tier 2 characters that are blue, and you don't have a lot of option. Bardock by himself might work if he's Z7 as your blue, but I would really advise to have also Fasha at least 7 star. If you need to invest Z power on one of the EXs, I would advise you to do it for Fasha. For this Bardock, if you can get him at least Z1, I would really advise it. Most people have him, he's in every free banner, he's also on the Master Pack banner, so if you can get him to Zenkai 1 at least with the USTR, please do it, because blues are going to be very important. But maybe he can work 14 star without Zenkai. If he is like that, maybe friendship him a little bit. You have 2 attempts, try without Zenkai, and if it works, fine, you can take that. If it doesn't work, maybe get him to Z1. Now, if you are missing one of the blues, or one of them is like very low star, and you want a replacement, it's gonna be a tier 3 character, which is gonna be the Frieza. Bardock on his own can do the job, and you might not want a tier 3 character. You can go with whatever tier 2 character that you want. For example, you want double red and put EX Red Fasha, you can do that. Or you want triple yellow and put, for example, the Legend Bardock, it can work too, but I wouldn't advise it too much. However, if you do not have this Bardock Zenkai and you do not have Fasha, you might want to go with a tier 3 blue character, and you have the Frieza there. If you do not have Frieza as tier 3 as a blue character, well, just run 1 blue and move on to whatever tier 2. But the run is going to be pretty difficult, so having Bardock and Fasha might be very important here. And if you can get this Bardock to Zenkai 1 at least, it would be great. You can also Z-power this Fasha if you have her like 6 star or so. Even 7 star you can Z-power her to 9 star. EX Z-power are not that important anymore, so investing in them for TOP is a good idea in my opinion. Now let's move on to the last 2 characters, and it's gonna be the 2 yellows. You have 3 options for yellows in tier 2 and 1 option in tier 1, which is the Legend Bardock. Obviously, if you have the Legend Bardock, you're gonna use him instead of one of the characters here, and I would advise you to use it instead of the Shugesh in my opinion, if you have the Zenkai Bardock. If you do not have the Zenkai Bardock, or if he's low star, you can remove him and put the Legend Bardock instead. If you do not have Shugesh and the Zenkai Bardock, but you have Legend Bardock, you can go with this guy and the Legend Bardock, and it should be fine. Now, the best yellows are going to be, of course, the Zenkai Bardock, the Legend Bardock. The third best yellow is going to be this guy, and the fourth best is going to be the EX Yellow Bardock here. Now, this guy is not good at all, but you're going to need yellows in the top row for only 1, maybe 2 fights, so it's going to be fine even if you have these 2 guys. Just make sure your yellows are above 7 star if you are going to run them for the season. This is basically it for my team. Let me show you my friendship. This is what I have. I would advise you to friendship this Fasha if she is one of your blues and she is lower star. To be honest, the 2 blues are going to be pretty important to friendship, and or the other is not going to be that important in general. Maybe you can friendship one of the greens if you do not have 2 high star greens. Then we're gonna move on to the art boost. I'm gonna have the following. The Fasha and the Tora are high art boost because I used them in the OTOP format and I wanted to art boost them for a rank 1 run. You do not need art boost in my opinion. In terms of equipment, this is what we're gonna have. C equip on everyone, Clash equip on everyone, and the third is gonna depend on the type of character. That's all for today's video. The walkthrough is gonna be on Sunday hopefully. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any question, let me know in the comment. Have a good one and goodbye.